Hi, and welcome to another episode of The Average Joe Hockey Report. In this video, we're going to look at the Eastern Conference. As in the last video, we looked at the Western Conference to see which if the teams have improved. So, first team we're going to look at in East is the Boston Bruins, and I'll say they've improved a bit considering they acquired Pavel Zacha for center depth. So between Zacha and Jock Studnicka, it's a bit of center depth for the Bruins. Obviously, with Bergeron, with Patrice Bergeron situation, it kind of does put a damper on the center situation. But with Zacha there, it sh- it should do some good. So yeah. Next situation we're gonna look at is the Buffalo Sabres, and I'll say they've Uh, I'll say they've improved a bit. They added some depth at goaltending and defense in Eric Comrie and Ilya Lubushkin. I'm pretty sure that Buffalo's not going to use Lubushkin the same way Toronto did. So, yeah, I'd say Buffalo had a decent off season regarding to free agency signings and whatnot. Next team we're going to look at is the Carolina Hurricanes, and I don't know. I don't know what to think of them. They let Vinny Trocheck go. They let Tony DeAngelo go, and then they got older by getting Brent Burns and Max Pacioretty. It's imperative. It's imperative that Pacioretty stays healthy and that Brent Burns can still keep up to the pace that he's at, for one. And it's looking like now that Trocheck is gone, that Jesperi Kotkaniemi is going to be the second line center. He did not have a very good season last season, and people have been critical of his skating in the past. So basically, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to rate Carolina. I feel like it's been another weird off season for them. Next team we're going to talk about is the Columbus Blue Jackets, and yes, absolutely, they've improved. I didn't care for the Eric Goodbranson signing though, but Johnny Gaudreau, solid signing there. Patrick Laine, they were able to re-sign him. They've got a bunch of good prospects on forward and defense. So yes, I would say that Columbus has improved. Absolutely. Next team's the Detroit Red Wings, and yes, while I while I don't necessarily care for the Ben Sherratt signing, Dominic Kubalik, David Perron, Andrew Kopp, Ville Husso, solid signings. Solid. As it is, the Red Wings have a good young team, and all those signings that I mentioned that I'm a big fan of. Yep, I think I think Detroit's going to be making the next step. I don't know if they'll make playoffs, but they're definitely they're definitely looking like the team that's on the rise. Next team in the East is the Florida Panthers, and I don't know. I do like the Matthew Tkachuk signing, but acquisition. But you lost Jonathan Huberdeau, you lost Mackenzie Weegar, you lost Mason Marchment. I think the depth took a bit of a hit there. So Florida, I think Florida's still going to be a really good team, but I think they took a bit of hit in regards to depth. And I'm not necessarily sure about Paul Maurice as their coach. Next team in the East is Montreal Canadiens, and I'd like to think that they could only go up from here. I mean, they finished dead last. I'd like to think Uri Slavkovsky, you know, um, uh, will get a 9 game stint. They got rid of Jeff Petrie. Not necessarily sure about the Mike Matheson acquisition. They're gonna need to make one more move if they want to sign uh, Kirby Doc. But I'd like to think that they've improved a bit, and what worse could it? how much worse could it go in regards to Montreal, basically. Next team in the East is the New Jersey Devils, and yes, I'd like to say that they've improved. The Andre Palat signing is a good signing for them. Uh, you know the Vitek Vanacek. I don't think Mackenzie Blackwood was really a problem. I mean, I know he didn't post good stats, but the team in front of him wasn't all that great either. But Vitek Vanacek, he did decent on a poorly defensive Washington team. So no, I think New Jersey will improve, and they still got a bunch of exciting young players, whether it's on forward or defense or whatnot. So no, I like New Jersey. New York Islanders. I mean, they really haven't really done anything. I would say they've improved a bit with the Alexander Romanov acquisition, but I kind of wonder how they're going to use Romanov, considering that Adam Pelech and Ryan Pulock have the top two D pairings, you know, um, solidified. Or sorry, the top D pairing solidified. And then you got Noah Dobson, who had a really good season last season, I think, and you got Scott Mayfield, who's a good complementary guy. So where does Romanov fit? Does he take over Mayfield's spot on the second D pairing, or does he end up on the third D pairing? I don't necessarily know what they're going to do with him, so we'll see what happens. Next team is the New York Rangers, and you know they ended up losing Andrew Kopp, and they lost Ryan Strome, but I do like the Vinny Trocheck signing. Uh, the Vinny Trocheck signing um, uh, does address their need at center because they lost two centers there. So yeah, I do like the Vinny Trocheck signing. And I don't mind Yaroslav Halak as their backup goalie since they lost Anton Georgiev. So yeah, I think they should be. I think the Rangers should be okay. Maybe they do take a bit of a decline in depth, but they should be fine. Next Eastern Conference team we're going to look at is the Ottawa Senators, and oh boy, yes, big fan of what they did. You know the the Claude Giroux signing, acquisition, the Alex DeBrincat's acquisition, the Cam Talbot acquisition. We'll see. Um, he's 35 years old. We'll see if he declines or if he could still do well. I didn't wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of trading Philip Gustafson, but Talbot's a good short-term solution for now, and I think he's better than Matt Murray. So yes, I do like what Ottawa's doing. I think they will improve and playoff team maybe. Next team is the Philadelphia Flyers, and yeah, I don't know what they're doing there. Um, I do like the Tony DeAngelo signing, but the Nicolas Delorier signing, I thought they could have done without, and it, I don't know. Basically, the more moves the Flyers do, it seems like the more people ask, what is Chuck Fletcher doing? So yeah, Flyers, it just doesn't look good for them. The next team is the Pittsburgh Penguins, and I'd say for the short term, I'd say for the short term, they've improved, but this is a team that's looking to, and it feels like Fast and the Furious, one last ride, because Brian Rust gets re-signed, Chris Letang gets re-signed, Ricard Raquel gets re-signed, Evgeny Malkin gets re-signed. They acquired Jeff Petrie, they acquired Ty Smith, let go of John Marino, let go of Mike Matheson. It's looking like they're trying to make one more run. Now I don't necessarily know if that's the team that can make one more run, but we'll see. So I'd say they've improved for now, but in the long term it could hurt them. The next Eastern Conference team is the Tampa Bay Lightning, and I wouldn't say they've improved. Well, they let Andre Palat walk. They've had to let Andre Palat walk, I guess. So I guess they've declined a bit, but they're they're mostly making sure they kept their core together. They re-signed Mikhail Sergachev, re-signed Anthony Cirelli, re-signed Eric Cernak, re-signed Nick Paul. So I guess I, I do find the signing of Ian Cole a bit intriguing. And yes, but yeah, Tampa Bay was basically more or less trying to make sure they kept their core intact and let go of the aging Andre Palat. And yeah, the next team is the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I I'd say they declined a bit. Um, they let Ilya Mikheyev go. They let they let um, Jack Campbell go. Even though I wasn't the biggest fan, of Jack Campbell, I think I still like him better than Mac Murray. Uh, I do think the Ilya Samsonov signing is a bit intriguing. If Matt Murray can mentor Samsonov, and and if Samsonov, becomes the starter in Toronto, and solidifies himself, good move. But we'll see. We'll see. For now, I do think they've taken a bit of a hit on depth for sure, though. And last but not least, in the Eastern Conference, the Washington Capitals. And I do like the Darcy Kemper signing. I don't mind the Eric Gustafson signing. I liked his run in Montreal, but I'd say they've improved a bit, but I wouldn't say they've. I do. Oh, I also do like the Dylan Strome signing. So made. I think they made a decent improvement, but I don't know if it's too significant enough to. I don't know if it's that significant. We'll just leave it at that, okay? This video is mostly based on opinion and may not have any implication on how these players and teams will do come next season. So remember, if I'm wrong, don't belittle me, educate me, because this is the Average Joe Hockey Report. Hockey opinions based on the perspective of an average Joe. Take care, everyone, and follow my Instagram account, The Average Joe Hockey Report, and my YouTube channel, Marty Tommy, in parentheses, Average Joe Hockey Report.